Um, a very good morning to everyone present here. I warmly welcome all the honored guests, eminent speakers, and enthusiastic participants on the first day of the 4th Tibet Environment Conference on Tibet, the Water Tower of Asia towards a global common good, organized by the Tibet Policy Institute, Central Tibetan Administration, Dharamshala, India, and co-hosted by the Social Research Institute, Chulalongkorn University. So a very warm welcome to all of you. May I now invite Ms. Techen Palmu from the Tibet Policy Institute to deliver a welcome address.
Hello? Yeah. Very warm good morning to all. Tashidelek. I extend my greetings to Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Tsawang Gyabo Arya, the representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama for Japan and East Asia, Dr. Sayamon Churanrutna, the Deputy Director of Social Research Institute of Chulalongkorn University, Dr. Suruchai, I think like he has not arrived yet. Oh, Dr. Suruchai, the former Director of Center for Peace and Conflict Studies of Chulalongkorn University, and Dr. Surangrut, Jumnian Paul, and the Dr. Ekpand, the coordinator of the conference, dear colleagues from the press, and participants, and our esteemed panelists. First of all, I would like to say it is great to be here at Chulalongkorn University, one of the top universities of Thailand. And I thank the Social Research Institute for co-organizing this conference and making it possible for all of us to gather here. I, on behalf of Tibet Policy Institute, would like to welcome you all to the 4th Tibet Environment Conference. The 4th Tibet Environment Conference is organized by the Tibet Policy Institute of Central Tibetan Administration in collaboration with the Social Research Institute of Chulalongkorn University. This conference is a part of a series of conferences organized by the Tibet Policy Institute to highlight the global ecological importance of Tibetan Plateau and the current environmental situation in Tibet. The past 3 conferences in 2015, 2019, and 2021 successfully brought together a diverse group of experts to highlight and understand Tibet's ecological importance, particularly the significance of its rivers. This year's conference is organized 3 days before the COP28 conference to generate more awareness and foreground Tibet's ecology and water in the global climate conversation. Tibet is often called the Water Tower of Asia. It is a source of Asia's 6th largest and most important rivers that flows into some of the world's most populated nations. It sustains more than 1.5 billion people with fresh water. Over the last few decades, these valuable resources has been experiencing a multitude of anthropogenic pressure due to incessant dam, hydroproject, water diversion, and variation in climate and pollution patterns. Such unsustainable development patterns cause increasing water-related disasters and environmental degradation. Therefore, sustainable management of Tibet's rivers is crucial for the international community climate change goals and directly contributes to the development, peace, stability, and environmental sustainability of South and Southeast Asian countries. In the light of these changes and predicament, this 2-day conference, the title, Tibet, the Water Tower of Asia, towards a global common goods, brings together academics, scientists, activists, policymakers from South and Southeast Asian countries. This conference aims to highlight the importance of Tibet's transboundary rivers and their management as a global common resources. With this note, I believe that this conference will provide an inclusive space to all the experts from different Asian countries to share the knowledge, insights, expertise on the importance of regional cooperation over shared water resources to ensure water security, better water governance, and sustainable development. I look forward to the next 2 days filled with a series of invigorating discussion and deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dechenpalmu, for a very warm welcome address. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Tsawangyalpo Arya, representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama for Japan and East Asia, to deliver a keynote address.
Good morning, and Tashidelek and Sawad Dekrub. So, today the director of the Chulalongkorn University, Mr. Dr. Urun Lekoni, he was not able to come, but Deputy Director Sayamal Chetrun Kiratna, and the panelists and speakers and scholars from India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Tibet, Thailand, and Pakistan, and I think from Cambodia is from online, I think, and other participants. And first of all, I'm greatly honored. At the same time, I'm greatly humbled also for giving me the chance to be able to give you the opening remarks here at this fourth Tibet Environment Conference in Bangkok. I would like to thank the organizer and the co-organizer, Tibet Policy Institute of Central Tibetan Administration, and the co-host, Chulalongkorn University Social Research Institute, for organizing this conference and providing this much needed platform to discuss this important issue of Water Tower of Asia. So first I must profess that I'm not an expert on the environmental studies, but as a long-serving civil servant of the Central Tibetan Administration and a scholar on Tibetan studies, I'm very much aware and I'm also very much worried of what has happened and what is happening on the Tibetan plateau. That is the roof of the world and what we call the third pole and the water tower of Asia. So today's this topic, Tibet, the water tower of Asia, towards a global common good. So I'll try to speak on some 6 points which will cover why Tibet is the water tower of Asia. So first point is that why Tibet environment and ecosystem is important for all of us. And second point is how Tibet is a water tower of Asia. And third point is what damage is being done to this water tower and how this damage to the water tower is affecting the neighboring countries. And then the fifth point, I would like to share what His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said about the planet Earth. And lastly, how do we all need to do something to save this water tower for our children? So I must share this also, actually last time I thought that I have 20 minutes to speak, so I have prepared my script accordingly, but yesterday the organizer told me that it's only 15 minutes. So yesterday I was trying to rub many of the 3 or 4 paragraphs, so there may be a little incoherency, so please bear with me for that. And then, why Tibet's environment and ecosystem is important. What is happening in Tibet's ecology does not forebode well for Tibet, Asia, and the world. Tibet has suffered a great ecological disturbance, environment damage since 1950s due to massive mining, deforestation, damming, and militarization of the plateau. Environmentalists and the scientists have realized that this continued damage to the Tibetan environment will mean rapid melting of the Himalayan glacier and the permafrost, affecting the livelihood of millions of peoples downstreams, 1.5 billion peoples. Tibet comprising, so that is number 3, Tibet comprising 3 traditional provinces of Usang, Amdo, and Kham. It has an area of 2.5 million square kilometers, 5 times the size of the Thailand and 6 times the size of Japan. It has an elevation of more than 4,000 meters and holds the largest number of glaciers next to the North and the South poles. Therefore, it is referred to as a third pole. These glaciers are the source of the 10 major rivers of Asia, sustaining and feeding the land and people in the Southeast Asian countries of India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Bhutan, China, Myanmar, Laos, Taiwan, Cambodia, and Vietnam. So this is how the Tibet is the water tower of Asia. 46,000 glaciers and the vast permafrost, number 4. Major source of the rivers in Asia. So that is what we call the Senghe Khabar flows through the India to Pakistan as Indus River. And Langjeng Khabar flows southward as Satluj in Western India. And Major Khabar becomes a sacred Ganges through the Gangotri. And Tajo Khabar flows eastward and joining the Kichu River, it becomes Yalungsangpo and flows to India and Bangladesh as a Brahmaputra. And we have this Yalmung Ulchu River from central Tibet flowing to the South China, Myanmar, and Thailand as Nyujing, Thalwin, and Salween. And Zachu River of Tibet is the famous Mekong River. It is 5,000 kilometers from the source of the Tibet to the South China Sea. So this Mekong River, it nourishes millions of people in China, Myanmar, Laos, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. And Dichu and Machu River of Tibet are the source of the Yangtze and Huanghe Yellow Valley rivers of China. These two rivers are the longest rivers in China, and Huanghe River is supposed to be the cradle of Chinese civilizations. And this is how the Tibet is important as a water source of Asia. And how this water source is being damaged. Now with the increased human activities, we are witnessing great damage to the Tibetan plateau and ecosystems. This damage comes in the form of melting of the glacier and permafrost due to increased housing and industrial projects and because of increased migration from the mainland. Increased mining of the mountains and the damming of Tibetan rivers. The Institutes of the Governance and Sustainable Development has reported that temperature warming in excess of 1 degree centigrade on the Tibetan side of the Himalaya will result in rapid melting of the glacier, which will be disastrous for the Tibetan plateau as well for the riparian states. If the current rate of the increase in temperature continues, the scientists say that by 2050, 2/3 of the 46,000 glaciers will be lost. So this will cause an acute shortage of fresh and life-sustaining water in the riparian Southeast Asian countries. Number 5. So on top of this melting glaciers, there is a damming of Tibetan rivers for mega hydro projects. So like the author is on the dais, Ms. Dechen Pamo, so a research fellow at the Tibet Institute writes that over the last 7 decades, the People's Republic of China has constructed more than 87,000 dams. And collectively, it generates 325 gigawatt of power, more than the capacities of the Brazil, United States, and Canada combined. On the other hand, these projects have led to the displacement of over 23 million people. An international campaign for Tibet reports that the Chinese government plans to construct large hydropower stations in Tibetan areas, likely to have a negative impact on the environment and lead to the relocation of thousands of local people. At least one project directly affects UNESCO protected World Heritage Sites. So today we have officers from the UNESCO related matters also. So this has, any plans to build more dams and dikes in the lower Mekong basins under the guise of one belt, one road, or the Belt and Road Initiative promising many hydro projects and development will be dangerous. Yeah. Will be dangerous, yes. So what this One Belt and One Road and the Belt and Road Initiative is all about is, so I will not speak much on this. So you can see this report, So in this report, it is clearly mentioned how this Belt and Road Initiative is it really benefiting the developing countries or not. So I will not elaborate, so you can have a look at this report. Now, fourth thing is that how this damage to the water tower affects the neighboring countries. So the excessive exploitation of the mineral resources of the Tibetan Plateau and damming of the Tibetan rivers have adversely affected the climate change, global warming, and stable flow of water to the East Asian countries. An International Center for Integrated Mountain Development has reported that at the current pace of melting glacier, with increased temperature and human activity, the Ganges, Brahmaputra, Indus, and other rivers across the northern Indian plain would soon become a seasonal river. This would greatly affect the livelihoods of millions of people in India, Pakistan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Number 7. So recent news in Japan Times reports that the UN has declared South Asia the worst in the world of water scarcities. A staggering 347 million children under 18 are exposed to high and extremely high water scarcity in South Asia region plagued by floods, drought, and other extreme weathers, events triggered by increasing climate change. And number 8, and the head of the Mekong programs at Ma Fe Lung University here in Thailand, Dr. Ken Swan Khai, he writes, quote, once the mighty and resourceful Mekong is in critical situations, Mekong River is maltreated, and the lands are mismanagement, unconscious development projects in the regions are cluttered. All in all, people are suffering, and their voices need to be heard. Mekong's floodplain and the 37 wetland sustains 61 million people living in 5 countries of Cambodia, Laos, Burma, Vietnam, and Thailand. However, the development activities in the upper Mekong Basin and the unconscious development in the lower Mekong have challenged regional stability and balance of power in the region. And now, another major cause of eco-disaster that we find is excessive mining in Tibetan Plateau. On number 9. So it is reported that aggressive mining of the Tibet's mountains for mineral resources is damaging the fragile Tibet ecosystem. So it is reported China's booming electric vehicle industry is fueling a lithium rush in Tibetan Plateau that risks damaging the troubled region's fragile ecology and deepening rights violations. Around 85% of the country's total lithium reserves are said to be in Tibet. And this water pollution of Tibetan Plateau is not good for all the nation below the streams. Now, 5th point, what His Holiness the Dalai Lama has said about the planet Earth. Number 10. Yeah. So his quote, this planet of ours is a delightful habitat. Its life is our life. Its future is our future. Indeed, the earth acts like a mother to us all. Like children, we are dependent on her. Unless we all work together, no solution can be found. Our Mother Earth is teaching us a lesson in universal responsibility. Take the issue of water for an example. Today, more than ever, the welfare of citizens in many parts of the world, especially of mothers and children, is at extreme risk because of the lack of adequate water, sanitation, and hygienic conditions. Interdependence is the fundamental law of nature. Ignorance of interdependence has wounded not just our natural environments, but our human society as well. Therefore, we human beings must develop a great sense of oneness of all humanity. Each of us must learn to work not only for his or herself, family or nation, but for the benefit of all mankind, unquote. So we see how, we can see how we have greatly deviated from what His Holiness has said. What is happening in Tibet, what is happening in Ukraine, what is happening in Gaza right now is all because of our divisive way of thinking of I, you, and they concept. The subtitle of this conference, Towards a Global Common Good, is very apt. We all must see that this Tibetan plateau, the water tower of Asia, belongs to all of us, and we all need to protect it. If we want our children to continue to have a peaceful life with a continued supply of fresh water from the water tower of Asia. For this, we all must uphold the principle of global community and need for universal responsibility as advocated by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Now, what we all could do to save this water tower. So it is very clear that what happens at the river upstreams is definitely going to affect the river downstream and the people. Therefore, the environment and ecology of Tibet is not a matter of Tibetan people only. It is a critical issue for all of us. It's a global issue. It affects the global warming and climate change and the lives of more than 3 billion people, 40% of the world population. So we all need to make sure that Tibet's environment and ecology are properly protected so that the people and the lands dependent on the rivers from the Tibetan plateau are not deprived of this water resource and their livelihood. And I quote number 11. Yeah, so Professor Brahmachalini, he's among us here. So he has been writing many articles and opinion on these subjects. So I was trying to make a very impressive conclusion, but I couldn't find more than that, so I'm going to quote him. So Professor Brahmachari, in one of his writings, concludes, China, with its hold over Asia's transnational water resource and boasting more than half of the world's 50,000 large dams, has made the control and manipulation of river flow a pivot of its power and economic progress. Unless it is willing to play a leadership role in developing a rule-based system, the economic security risks arising from the Asian water competition can scarcely be mitigated. So I think Professor wrote this in 2013. So it is almost a decade now. Has there been any change? So it is up to for all us to see. So therefore, we all need to urge China to share hydro project-related information with all the nations concerned and stop its China-centric hydro-hegemonic policy. This Chinese mad rush in damming all the rivers from Tibet will not only be disastrous for Tibet and the Riparian state, but also for the mainland China. So here I look forward to seeing the proceeding of this conference and hearing opinions of the experts and panelists, and I hope the conference will make aware and inform the world of the critical water issue that we are all facing and come up with good ways to deal with this crisis, not in isolation, but through collective effort as a global common good. So let us all work hard and come to a consensus. So how we could all save Asia and the world from this water crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tsawangyapo Arya, for the keynote address and briefly highlighting the ecological significance of Tibetan Plateau on the global level in terms of the ecological significance, and also to highlight the current critical situation inside Tibet, including the nomads relocation, dam construction, and also the exploitation of mineral resources inside Tibet. So thank you, Dr. Tsawangyapo Arya. Now I would like to invite Dr. Sayamol Charan Ratana, Deputy Director of the Social Research Institute, Chulalongkorn University, to deliver a special address.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, Excellency Representative of His Holiness the Dalai Lama of Japan and East Asia's scholar, academic, policymakers, distinguished officers, and the participants. It gives me great pleasure to address the fourth Tibet Environmental Conference, the Tibet, the Water Towers of Asia, toward the global common goals taking place today and tomorrow here at Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, Thailand. And I would like to say welcome all of you to Thailand. I commend the organizer for making the conference an international event. It is great to see firsthand that value is offered to academic, scholar, scientists, policymaker, diplomat, government, activists, and the members of the civic community from South and Southern Asia countries to get together and exchange views on the regional issue and the global development. I would like to tell you some story from Thailand. I visit a small village in a high mountain in Chiang Mai, in the north of Thailand, every month for 2 years. This village is located near the river source. However, the villagers have to buy a drinking water. Don't wondering. Although this village have their own pump system, the water sanitation doesn't function well enough for them and for everybody around there. The water is contaminated with the chemical from the vegetable farmers and the animal manures. Those vegetable and livestock meat are sent to the market in the city of Chiang Mai. And if you take a bath in the river, you will surely get itchiness, of course, because they have contaminated in the rivers. Therefore, the business in the water filtration system are very spready in this district, located only 40 kilometers from the centers of Chiang Mai city. It's not far away from the city. Also, you can easily understand that this conference is about now, but because the water is very important to our life. The conference highlights the importance of Tibet trans-bordering rivers, and they managed as the global common resources. The challenges are daunting. Over the past 2 decades, the Asia-Pacific regions have experienced an unparalleled economic growth. Yes, the home of half of the world's poorest people, and inequality is growing here. With the predict 22 megacity by 2013 and the populations of 5.2 billion by 2050, water demand of Asia-Pacific is expected to increase by 55%. The water scarcity will increase in 74 to 86% in regions of ASEAN. Moreover, we have to collect a stake in ensure water management and qualities of the water in our neighborhood. It is imperative, therefore, that we forge stronger link to establish the region-wide prosperity among us. Main idea should focus on explore the challenge of complexity facing the downstream country, during the unprecedented constructs of dam and the water diversions. I am confident that there will ever be the necessary policy reform to create the conditions of the fruitful collaboration among our regions. It is expected that the government and the civic society organizations of the downstream country will establish a more robust inter-regional network to share information. The conference will be staffed to explore innovative ways to bring the recipients countries together, to encourage them to sign an international water treaty. Additionally, the environmental impact assessment will be required before any development project on the trans-bordering rivers. By promoting greater cooperation among recipients countries, it will be possible to improve the protections of Asian rivers and prevent the trans-bordering water conflicts. Water and climate change are, of course, not divided. The increasing sequence and extremely weather event lead to the water scarcity and the pollution, but they also reduce predictabilities of the water resources. The impact threatens sustainable development. The threatened biodiversity and is jeopardize people across the river, across to the water and sentient. This is the significance of the South and Southern Asia community coming together around the agenda, not only Tibet, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Vietnam, Laos, or Thailand. Water and how to accelerate corrective progress on the water management together to meet a sustainable future together. Today, International Conference on the Water is an important and timely opportunity to take a stock of current challenge and discuss prospective futures actions, preparing the 2023 COP28 to generate more awareness and foreground Tibet ecologies and water in the global climate conversation from now to the futures. I already mentioned about climate change was a water crisis. We experience its impact through worsened flooded, as Representative said, trekking ice field, rising the sea level, wildfires and drought. So, while climate change is the water crisis, the water can also fight the climate change too. Sustainable water management can develop resilience and improve the ecosystem, contributing to reduce carbon emissions. Every village and the person can be part of these solutions. I believe that. And I believe more. Academic dialogue and cooperation are cornerstone in the improved today sustainability challenge manifest in multiple and diverse crises. New ways of thinking and action must be agreed upon to address the public crisis that we are planet and human face. I wish your success and I trust your deliberations will make the value contributions to deepening mutual understanding and help pave the way to mutually beneficial cooperations. Thank you, and what I would like to say, welcome all of you to Thailand again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sayamol Charanratana, for the special address and for the highlighting the importance of the collective management and governance on water resources and stressing on the importance of the sustainable development. Thank you so much. May I now request all the honored guests and eminent speakers to gather outside the conference hall for the group photo session. And after the group photo session, we have prepared a small tea break for the 15 minutes. And then I request everyone to again together inside the conference hall to start the first panel. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the tea break. Thank you, everyone.